President Biden and former President Trump respond after voters in more than a dozen states went to the polls for Super Tuesday. And after winning one race last night, Nikki Haley is expected to suspend her campaign today. The Morning Rundown starts now.
From the Straight Arrow News studio, bringing the stories that matter to you from across the United States and around the world. This is the Morning Rundown.
Today is Wednesday, March 6th. Thank you for joining us. I'm Kara Rucker.
You see it there. NBC News is now projecting Donald Trump as the winner of the state of Virginia with its 48 delegates at play.
For the Fox News alert in Texas, the Fox News decision desk can project former President Trump will win the Republican primary in the state of Texas. That President Biden will win the Democratic primary.
CBS News projects Donald Trump will win the North Carolina GOP primary. CBS News also projects President Joe Biden will win the Democratic primary there.
Based on analysis of the vote, ABC News can now project Donald Trump will win the Republican primary in Minnesota. That result just in tonight.
That's how it sounded for most of the night as Super Tuesday saw President Joe Biden and former President Trump gain hundreds of delegates each and move closer to setting up a rematch for the presidency in November. Trump and Biden dominating the races on the big voting day of the primaries, with contests in 16 states and one territory. Both Biden and Trump picking up key victories in California, Texas, Virginia, and North Carolina. After a near sweep of Super Tuesday, Trump is currently holding a total of 1,057 delegates, with 1,215 being the magic number to clinch the GOP nomination. Trump could reach that goal as early as next week. Trump celebrated his big night speaking to supporters in Mar-a-Lago after clinching several victories.
Well, thank you very much. They call it Super Tuesday for a reason. This is a big one. And they tell me, the pundits and otherwise, that there's never been one like this. There's never been anything so conclusive. This was an amazing night, an amazing day. It's been an incredible period of time in our country's history. It's been sad in so many ways, but I think it's going to be inspiring because we're going to do something that, frankly, nobody's been able to do for a long time.
Super Tuesday was not a clean sweep for President Biden or former President Trump. For Trump, his last remaining Republican rival, Nikki Haley, pulling off a victory in Vermont, but multiple reports confirming this morning it was not enough. Haley is planning to suspend her campaign today. Vermont was only her second win this election cycle after picking up a victory in Washington, D.C.'s primary this past weekend. Haley getting 50% of the vote in Vermont, Trump coming in with 46%. 17 delegates were up for grabs in the state on the Republican side. Haley vowed to remain a candidate through Super Tuesday, but scheduled no future campaign events. She did not speak following last night's results, but a spokesperson for Haley released a statement saying, "Unity is not achieved by simply claiming we're united. Today, in state after state, there remains a large block of Republican primary voters who are expressing deep concerns about Donald Trump. That is not the unity our party needs for success." On the Democratic side, President Biden sailed to victory in every state that voted on Super Tuesday, getting at least 80% of the vote in many of them. However, he did face some opposition in some states in the form of a protest vote. Activists calling on voters to choose the uncommitted option to protest Biden's handling of the war in Gaza. In Minnesota, the uncommitted vote stood at 19%. Biden issuing a statement as Super Tuesday results were coming in, focusing on his likely challenger in November, former President Trump, saying, quote, "Tonight's results leave the American people with a clear choice. Are we going to keep moving forward, or will we allow Donald Trump to drag us backwards into the chaos, division, and darkness that defined his term in office?" Like Trump, Biden suffered one defeat on Tuesday night, losing the Democratic caucuses in the territory of American Samoa to entrepreneur Jason Palmer. Palmer earning 56% of the votes. However, the tally was small, with less than 100 votes between both candidates. Along with the presidential election, Super Tuesday voters made decisions in several other key races, including the battle in California to fill the seat of late Democratic Senator Dianne Feinstein. The state putting all candidates on one ballot, regardless of their party affiliation. Democratic Congressman Adam Schiff and Republican and former baseball player Steve Garvey receiving the most votes and will compete in November for the Senate seat. Garvey, who played for the Los Angeles Dodgers and San Diego Padres, told his supporters Tuesday night that while critics say he'll strike out in the general election, it's not over until it's over. In Hollywood, Schiff's victory celebration was interrupted by protesters calling for a ceasefire in Gaza. In a landmark decision, the Dartmouth College men's basketball team voted 13-2 in favor of unionizing, a first in college sports. This vote marks a historic move towards establishing the first college athletes' labor union. Dartmouth's players have emphasized the dual role of student athletes as both students and campus workers. The union to represent them is the same one that represents Dartmouth employees. The players want to collectively bargain over things like pay and practice hours. However, the school is against the unionization effort, arguing that its athletes are students first and athletics are part of their educational experience. Dartmouth has 5 business days to appeal. Finally this morning, a piece of TV history has been sold for tens of thousands of dollars on eBay. What was it? Well, do you remember this scene? Yes, the final scene of the HBO series The Sopranos gave fans a lot to think about still to this day, almost 17 years after it first aired. And now one fan is taking home that iconic booth from this piece of TV nostalgia. The booth where the Soprano family sat and ate to the tune of Don't Stop Believing sold on eBay this week for nearly $83,000. eBay saying there were 238 bids to win the booth, which includes the seats, table, and divider wall, but noting the jukebox was not included in the sale. According to the auction, the winner is responsible for picking up the booth from a New Jersey ice cream shop. These are your top stories for this Wednesday. Unbiased, straight facts, that's Straight Arrow News. We'll see you back here tomorrow. Until then, I'm Kara Rucker. Have a great day.